Hey guys, welcome to the GBHL YouTube video. This is a Batrep video and I've got Matt helping me out today. We're going to be playing with some of the new forces from the new book. It's going to be Hills Dwarves versus Azogs Legions, so that'll be quite cool. We're also playing one of the new scenarios, which is the Heirlooms of Ages Past. Is that the right way around? I think it is. Right. So it's all quite new, so we may make a few mistakes, just bear with us, we'll try our best. So without further ado, we'll go and look at the board and the armies. So for Azogs Legion's force, we have Azog, and he's going to be maxed out on his white warg, heavy armour and flail, and he's got a warband of Gundabad's with a banner in there, and he's going to be split his Gundabad's between shields and spears. We have 8 of those in his warband, and then the second warband is a captain. The captain has 3 berserkers, he has 3 Gundabad's with shields, and he has 2 ogres, and that is the Gundabad force, Azogs Legion. And here we have Matt's force. What have you got in your force, Matt?
So, Dane on his pig with 8 Hills Dwarves with shields, with spears, a captain again with 8 with spears, and then messing around a bit with the points to get the ballista in. We've got a ballista with a captain. And
the captain, we're going to proxy the bannerman from the command pack as the captain for the ballista, just because it looks cool and it matches in with the army. So that's the armies. We'll have an overview of the board and then we'll get cracking. And this is the board. We've gone for a kind of Battle of 5 Armies Dale-esque type of board. So we've got a river which will be shallow water, just to add another sort of aspect to the game. A few ruin buildings and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll for deployment of the objectives, and then we'll roll for a board edge. Okay, so this is the board with the objective laid out. We have one here in the corner in the building. We have one a bit further up, just on the river crossing there. One a little bit more north in another ruin building. We've got one almost central. We've got one tucked away, where is it? There it is. And then we've got one at the back of the building there. And that is the layout of the board. We're now going to roll for board edge and we're going to roll for priority, so I'll see you in a second. Okay, so turn 1 in this scenario is Maelstrom of Battle, so we will be rolling for priority first to see who's going to be bringing their warbands on. Bear in mind also that the dwarves, being pure Iron Hills, do get their special rule where they can plus or minus by 1 their dice roll for Maelstrom of Battle, which is very, very cool. So we'll see what we get. I'm going to be using the Witch King dice and Matt will be using the Dane dice, and we'll have a roll off. I get a 3, Matt gets a 1. So I'll be placing my warbands first, so we'll come back in a second. So I'm going to be rolling for Azog's warband to see where he comes on. So let's have a roll here. And he gets a 5. It's a good roll, so I get to choose east or west. And I will now roll for the captain to see where he comes on. And he gets a 1, so he doesn't come on just yet, and I'm not going to mite that. I'm not going to mite that. So I will place Azog, and then we'll come back to see Matt's deployment. So as we can see, I've brought Azog in around the back here, and I've tried to deploy his infantry spaced out as much as I can, but staying within 6 of Azog, and that is because of the ballista and the scatter of the ballista. So now we're going to roll for Matt's warbands. So who are you going to roll for first, Matt?
I'll roll for Dane first.
So we'll roll for Dane. Dane gets a 4. Okay, so that means that he will be coming on east or west, and you choose.
North or south?
North or south, yes, sorry, north or south. Okay.
Choose the captain.
And the captain gets a 6, he can come on wherever he wants.
And the ballista.
And the ballista gets a 6, that can come on wherever it wants. Do you want to up or down Danes? You can do, if you want. You can down it to a 3 if you'd like, so I can place it for you.
I think I'm happy with that.
Happy with that. Okay, so we'll come back once Matt's deployed all his forces. So as we can see, Matt has deployed pretty much everything in this sort of, kind of the southwestern corner. He's got Dane and his warband here, and then the ballista's deployed here. Obviously the ballista's moved onto the board, so it can't move. Can't shoot this turn. And then we've got the captain with his warband just sneaking on the other side of the river here. So now we are going to go on to turn 2, and we're going to roll for priority. Here we go. I get a 2 and Matt gets a 1. So Azog gets priority. Come back in a second. So I've moved Azog up. He's run across the stream and he's heading straight for this warband. He's not bothered. He's going to go at it. His warband themselves, they've spread out again for the scatter of the ballista, and they're hopefully going to start testing for objectives. So we're just going to have a roll now to see if my captain's warband comes on, and I get a 4, and I do come on. So what we're going to do is I'm going to place them, and then we'll come back and we'll see what Matt does with his movement. So I rolled a 4, so I got to choose north or south, and I chose the south board edge, and I've come on. I obviously can't charge this turn, but it makes complete sense for me to tie that ballista up. So I've got 2 ogres there, some berserkers and a captain and a couple of infantry, so it makes complete sense, and if all else fails I've got a dog as backup. So let's see what Matt does. So as we can see, Dane and a couple of his buddies have charged through the building and charged into the back of one of the ogres, being quite aggressive there, and the other guys are just coming around the other side of the building there. What's happened here is 2 of the ballista crew have jumped off the ballista and charged into, one has charged 2 berserkers and one has charged the captain and his friend. We've got these little bolt action markers here just to sort of remind us who is who, because they don't have spears or shields, they just have swords. And then the captain has jumped basically back onto the ballista, so he can influence shots from the ballista, I'm assuming. These guys have moved up a little bit, and these 2 have gone round and they're going to be looking for the prize in that objective. So we're going to roll now to see if they pick it up. They roll a 6. There we go. Nice Dane helmet. So they've rolled a 6, that means he's now carrying the objective, and some special rules do come with carrying the objective. Each turn he has to roll a dice, and on a roll of a 1 he becomes paralysed due to like the magical influence of the artifact. So that's the move phase. We're now going to move on to the shoot phase, and we'll come back in a second. So as you can see, there's a 1 on that dice, and that was Matt's shoot roll for the ballista against Azog. First time filming a Batrep, and I forgot to film it. We were just playing as if we were playing as normal. Would you like to mic that at all, Matt?
Don't have enough mic.
No, so he's not going to mic that, so that was a failed attempt at a shot. So now we're going to move on to turn 3 priority. Oh, sorry, yeah, we have combats. We do have combats. So what we'll do is we're just going to decide which combats are going to go first, and if there's any heroic actions in there, and we'll come back. So Matt's going for it. He's called a heroic combat with Dane. Dane does have a support in the back there against the ogre. The ogre has 3 attacks. Dane will have his 4 because he charged, but he doesn't get them knocked down, and he gets an extra dice for the support. So what I'll do is I'll give him a target first and see what I get. I get 4 highest. It's not good. So that's 4 highest from the ogre. And Matt gets... oh, there's a 6. Obviously it's Dane. Yep. So he beats back the ogre. He wants to get the kill here now. So it would be 4s becoming 3s on Dane. 3 wounds. So there's 2. So he needs a wound, which will be, is it 5s or 6s off the support?
5s, I think.
5s. And he gets a 6. That's 1 ogre dead straight off the bat. He didn't do anything. So next combat will be, well, he gets to move on. Where's he going to go? We'll come back in a second rather than give rush Matt into his move. So with Dane absolutely pulverising that first ogre, what he's done, we pre-measured it. He is able to avoid control zones there and get round to charge the second ogre. He's had a rush of blood to the head, and he thinks he can take the second one out in 1 turn, which will just be amazing for Matt and terrible for me. But we're going to move on to this combat here, which will be 2 berserkers against a shieldless crew member. So I get 4 dice, and with those 4 dice I get, these dice rolls are terrible, it's a 3 highest, and he wins on a 4, so he knocks them back. Okay, so you need a 5 to wound, Matt. And it's a 1, it's unfortunate. Okay, we'll move on to the next combat in a second. Right, moving on to the next combat, we have a captain plus a shieldman with 2 spear supports fighting the other ballista crew member. So I know he has got a shield on the model, but he's got no shield at the moment. So we'll roll for the Gundabad's first, and I get a 5. It's not too bad. He gets a 6. So he wins that combat, and he backs off the Gundabad's. So your strength 4, you're going to need 6s on the captain and 5s on the normal dude.
I'll go for the normal guy.
Normal dude. And it's a 5, he's dead. So a Gundabad and an ogre down. And we move on to Dane. I get 3 dice. Let's see what the ogre gets. A 4 highest. It's not good again from the ogres. Let's see what Dane gets. And there is a 6 in there. There is a 6 again. I'm not surprised. So he knocks the ogre back an inch. And if 3 3s will kill the second ogre, this would be an amazing... There he goes. The ogre's dead. Dane has just killed 2 ogres in 1 turn. Oh my goodness. Let's move on to turn 4 priority. So before priority, what we need to do, we need to roll a d6 for the dwarf who is holding the prize to see if he is affected in any way. And you get a 3, so that's fine, he's fine. And now we're going to roll for priority. So Gundabad's get 5 and Matt gets a 2. Do you want to call anything, Matt?
Yeah, I'll call a heroic with Dane.
So Dane is going to use a second point of might and call a heroic, so we'll come back after the move. So as we can see, Dane has charged into combat with the Gundabad captain, and the 2 siege crew have just charged back into the fray. The guy at the end has charged the 2 berserkers again, and the guy in the centre has just charged a single spearman. So now we'll move on to Gundabad's normal move phase. So with the dwarves picking up the prize on the first time of asking, a lot of these Gundabads over in this corner are now redundant, so I need to get them over here as quick as I can. So these have made a quick march to get across the river here on the safe crossing. Over here, everyone was charged barring 1 berserker. He had to take a courage test to charge Dane, which he successfully passed, and he's managed to get in round the back and trap Dane. So Dane needs to win that fight or he's in trouble. And that is all the Gundabad move. Oh, and Azog has run up just here. He's probably 1 turn away from the fight itself, but we'll see how we go. He could get shot to pieces any time now. So now we'll move on to Matt's turn to move, and we'll come back. So as you can see, the ballista's not moved this turn. I think somebody is going to get shot at. He has started to move this, well, part of this warband over across the water, which is half move, which for dwarves is going to be a long slog, but he's started to get across to try and help out his buddies. And the 2 in the building there, which one of them has the prize, have decided to stay still for this turn because at the moment they're pretty safe. So now we're going to move on to the shooting phase, and I'm assuming that you're going to be shooting at Azog, Matt.
Yep, that's right.
So it's a 4+ to hit, and it's a 2. It's another bad roll.
So he's going to use both his points.
So he's going to use the 2 points of might, which makes it a hit. So now we roll on the scatter table. So you want anything but a 1 really, and it's a 6. It's bang on. Okay, we're going to work out what we need to do to see what wounds it caused, and we'll come back in a second.
Both knocked down.
So he rolled a 6. So cavalry models from a siege engine are automatically thrown. So we have a thrown rider test for Azog, and he gets a 6. So now we're going to see the damage which was caused by the shots. So on Azog, you need not a cock dice, I think. 3, and it was 4s on Azog, and you need 3s for the white warg to injure the white warg. And it's a 4, yeah, the other way around would have been nice. So that's a wound on the white warg. White warg will use fate. and gets a 6. So the White Wows used a Fate, and Azog is fine. So we're going to start over at the end, and it's this Berserker against the Iron Hills Dwarf with Spear and Shield over here. So the Berserker gets a 6, that's cocked, and that's a 1, so the Berserker wins. So the Berserker, he's not got his extra defense, so strength 4, defense 6 is going to be 5s to kill the Iron Hills Dwarf. That's correct, is it?
Defense 7.
Oh yeah, 7, so it's 6s. Yes, and there's a 6. So that's the first dwarf casualty. Okay, we'll just move straight on to the next combat, and it's going to be the second Berserker against an Iron Hills Dwarf and a crew member. So, are you fighting as normal?
Yep.
I'm going to go two-handed.
Okay.
I'm going to go for it. So the Berserker gets a 2, so it's a 1. Oh my goodness. So the Iron Hills Dwarfs win that fight. And I am defense 5, it's your strength 4, so you're going to need 5s. That's 1 wound. The Berserkers have got like a built-in fury, so on a 6 it's ignored. It's ignored, lovely. Actually, he would have been trapped. So roll 2 more dice. No. So yeah, he's fine. Alright, we'll come back in a second. So, on to the next fight, and it's the Spearman against the Iron Hills Dwarf. Give us a target, Matt. It's a 1. It's kind of target I like. I get a 6. These 6s coming thick and fast. So, the Iron Hills Dwarfs, I'm going to need 6s to wound. Another 6. Nice. So he dies. Yeah. That's nice. So now it's the big fight. So I have 2 attacks from the Berserker, 2 attacks from my captain, and Spearman. And we did actually both heroic strike in this fight. So we're going to see what we got to first. So we'll see what you got to first, Matt.
It's a 5.
It is a 5. So you are strength 10. Let's see what I got by. It's a 4, so you're the higher fight value. So do you want to roll your dice, see if you get a 6? And there is a 6. There is a 6. So Dane wins this combat again. So I'm going to back them off and then we'll come back for the wound rolls. Okay, so because Dane charged in, all 3 models are not prone. And you are going to be slinging your first pair of attacks at the captain.
That's 2.
Yeah. So it's fate or die for the captain. Here we go. He passes his fate. He's out of fate now though. Second attack on
The captain.
and it's nothing. It's a 2 and a 1. Third
one
attack.
on the captain.
It's a 2 and a 1 again. Keep them coming, Matt. Last attack.
On the captain.
Yeah, kills him. Okay. So was that all your attacks? Did you charge?
Yeah.
Did you have 4 attacks then, or
Yeah.
3? Yeah, you had 3. 4. Yeah, sorry. Okay. All right. We'll come back to priority in a second. Okay. So turn, is it 6? I think might be turn 6 or 7. Priority. Here we go. So Matt gets a 2 and I get the 4. So I will get priority. Is there anything you want to call, Matt?
This captain will be heroic marching.
So you're going to heroic march, okay. Anything over here? Oh, Dane's out, isn't he?
I'm all out, yeah.
Yeah, you're all out over it. Okay, so we'll move on to moving and then we'll come back. Okay, so the rest of these Gundarbads over in this far corner have proceeded to make their way towards this bottom corner where all the action's going on. Azog himself has charged this crew member here. Berserker has charged an Iron Hills Dwarf there. This Spearman has tied up the 2 front guys in the reinforcements for the Iron Hills coming around the building at the side. And then Dane has been surrounded with the White Wog in there also. And one point which we spoke about briefly, because we're not too sure how it works, the Berserker has charged the captain who is on the ballista. But as we know, the ballista doesn't come with a base, so we're not sure if the ballista and the crew are counted as one model or if it's all individual, but we're assuming that it's individual and that because there's still 2 dwarves on the ballista itself, that the ballista can still shoot this turn. If this is wrong and you know better, then please do correct us in the comments below. But that's how we're playing it. We're both happy with that. So that's how we're going to do it. And now we're going to move on to Matt's movement, which he's got these dwarves here and the dwarves in the building. So we'll come back once he's moved those. Okay, so the reinforcements which are coming around the back of this building in the bottom corner of the board, I've decided to swamp this spearman, and Matt has just manoeuvred his spear supports so that the guys at the front are in base contact with 2 other Iron Hills dwarves, so he gets the defence bonus. The captain heroic marched, and they've moved up and pretty much out of the water now, so they're going to be in the fray anytime soon. He moved his 2 which were over in the buildings just at the back here, just sort of keeping them out of the way, but so we can keep an eye on them. And that is that. We did roll, by the way, for the bearer's test, and he rolled a 4, so he was fine. So we will come back with the shoot phase. So in the shoot phase, Matt has decided to target this Gundabad, who is holding the sword in front of him and also has a spear. So we're going to roll now and see if he gets a 4+. And he gets a 1. This ballista, this is the second time I played against the ballista, and both times they've rolled this badly. So I'm not complaining, but saying that, he has had a good few turns of combat with Dane and took out my 2 augurs. So we're going to see how we get on now in the combat phase. We'll be back in a second. So in the combat phase, I have called a heroic combat with Azog against this crew member. So he doesn't have a shield, he doesn't have the spear, he just has a sword. And I have heroic struck with the white warg in the fight against Dane. So we're going to start with a heroic combat. Azog, he has 3 dice, so we're going to see how he goes. I get a 5 highest, and Matt gets a 3. So Azog wins the fight. So it's going to be 4s, and as we know with a flail, every wound is a D3. So we're looking for 4s for Azog. And we only get 1, which is quite lucky. So we're going to re-roll this for a D3 wound. So it's 2 wounds. He's well dead. Off he goes. So Azog is going to do probably what you all expected, and he is going to join in the fight against Dane. So what we're going to do now is we're going to save that fight, and we're going to come over here, and we're going to do my lowly spearman against 6 Iron Hills dwarves. I'm going to give you a target. I get a 6. So it's a good roll. So you need the 6, Matt. And you've got 1 cocked dice over there. And you don't get it. He's fought them all off. What a man. What a man. Okay, so they all back off. Like so. A full inch. We want to play by the rules here, you know what I mean? We'll save the Dane fight. So we are now going to move on to the Berserker fight. Do excuse my cameraman skills. It's the first time doing this. And I keep forgetting to look at the screen and just watch the game as if I'm playing it. So I do apologise. So my Berserker against the captain. I'm going to fight normal, so I'm not going to go 2-handed. And the Berserker gets a 2. Which one of them was mine?
6.
And a 6. It was a 6, Matt's confirmed. And you also get a 6. And we are... Do you think you're the higher fight? Just let me double check the fight value. So, with the captain being fight 5, the Berserkers are fight 4. So the captain wins, the Berserker backs off. So it's defense 5. You will need 5s to wound. And that's 2 wounds. So the Berserker has the, like we say, the built-in Fury. So 2 6s here would be amazing. Oh, he doesn't get it. So another Berserker bites the dust into the dead pile with his 2 big brothers. Okay, so we're going to go into the final combat, which is a big one. So we will come back in a second. Yeah, so Azog is already the higher fight value, so the strike up is irrelevant. You could say it was a waste of a point of might, but I could have easily failed the heroic combat, which, you know, with the rolling that I've been rolling so far was very, very feasible. So I'm the higher fight value in this fight. I do have quite a lot of might, and Matt has none. So ideally he needs the 6. I'm going to be rolling 7 dice, and the green dice are for Azog, the key dice are for the White Warg, and the Witch King dice are for the Berserker. So everything except the blue dice are mightable. So I'll let Matt give me a target. He gets a 4 and 2 5s. Okay, let's just see what we get over here. And the 6 is there. Okay, so he could be in trouble here. So what we're going to do, we'll do Azogs first, because he wounds on 3s, and every 3 is D3, and he's trapped. So there's 6 dice. Okay, let's see what we get. So we'll take the ones that are nothing out. So that's 4 D3 wounds. So we'll do the first one. That's 3 wounds. Second one, 1 wound, so that's 4 wounds. Oh, another 3 wounds. Dane's dead. And Dane bites the dust. It's a bit of payback. Azog didn't need his buddies. Thank goodness for that. Now we've kind of tilted the scale back to somewhere where this could be a fairly even fight, I think. So we're going to move on to priority. So priority turn 7 or 8 this is. Matt gets a 2 and I get a 1. Okay, so we'll come back in a second. Okay, so the White Warg has decided to call a heroic move, and it's in the rules that no one else except Wargs can benefit from heroic actions called by the White Warg. So she's going to move on her own, so I'm going to move her and then we'll come back after she's moved. So as we can see, she's just ran a bit more towards the centre of the board over here. So that is the White Warg's heroic move. You may be looking at me daft saying, why have you done that and used part of might, but there is a method to the madness. Obviously I'm not going to say it out loud because Matt's sat next to me. But we'll move on to Matt's move and come back. So the end of the move phase, Matt's kind of trapped and out, sort of numbering as many fights here as he can. He's got 2 in against this spearman, he's got 2 in against a berserker there. There's a captain got in on Azog, with the other captain who's got no might, couple of spear supports, and tagged everyone up here so I can't help him out. Luckily for me, Azog does have his flail and he does have might, so that could be interesting, that fight over there. Matt didn't take the bait and charge my White Warg to let me heroic combat off and move again. Very smart indeed, and he's kept those guys neatly behind the building. So now we are going to move on to the shoot phase and we'll be back in a second. So Matt is now going to target the White Warg with his ballista, so we're going to roll, see what he can get. And he gets a 5, that's a hit. So now we roll on the scatter table. And it's a 5, so I can actually choose someone else within 3 inches for it to hit. So I'll have a look and then we'll come back. So on the scatter table I'm able to choose someone within one of my own warriors within 3 inches of the original target, and I'm going to choose this Gundabad. The reason that I do that is the hit also hits everyone within 2 inches of him, so it will actually save the White Warg skin by doing that. So yeah, if you want to see strength, I'm assuming he's a spearman, so he's going to be defense 5 and it was strength 8 we said, didn't we? So it's going to be 3s, and he hits on a 4. So the guy in the centre and the 2 people either side of him are both going to take a hit, so we're going to work out what we need to roll and come back in a second. Yep, so he wounded this guy, which killed him, and then the 2 guys either side of him are knocked prone, they don't take a hit. Again, we apologise for not having these rules fluently, but these are new rules with this ballista and we're learning ourselves as we go. So that's the battlefield after the shoot phase. We're now going to move on to combats, which is going to look quite messy down in this corner, so we'll come back in a second. So combat phase, and we're going to start with these 2 Iron Hills against the Gundabad Spearman. So the Gundabad Spearman gets a 3. And you get a 6, so you win. So he doesn't have a shield, so it's going to be, oh, there's a 3, that's nothing. And a 1 is nothing, he survived, he just backs off. Nice. We'll do the Berserker against the 2 Iron Hills. The Berserker gets 5s. And you get the 6 again. Okay, so you see if you wound, he's defense 5. Strength 4, defense 5.
Fives.
5s, yeah, no wound. That's great news. And then we're going to go on to this spearman against the lone Iron Hills Dwarf warrior. And Matt, you get a 3. The spearman gets... Oh, it's a 5, it is, sorry. A 4, you win. Not doing very well in these combats. So he backs off. And a 3 to wound, doesn't kill him. We have this fight here, which is a Berserker against an Iron Hills Dwarf. Let's see what we get. Berserker gets a 3 highest. These rolls are not good, but it beats the 1. Okay, so defense 7. Strength 4, defense 7. It's going to be 6s still. Is it 6s or 5s?
6s.
See what we get. No, it's not a 4 anyway. Okay. So the Iron Hills Dwarf backs off. So now it's this big fight. So we have Azog in the centre, who's going to have 3 dice. He's using his flail. You have 2 captains and 3 supports. And you've got no might left.
No, I struck with the captain.
Oh, you struck with the captain. You did. And I get to do it for free as well.
Is it automatic or did he?
Yeah, it's automatic, yeah. So see what you got to. So you get a 1, so I'm still higher anyway. Okay, so Azog gets 2, a 1 and a 6. So Azog wins the fight. Okay, so I am going to first of all strike. Let's have a look. I think the first strike, which will be a D3 wounds. Are they all out of might now, the captains? Yeah. You've got no might left on the table. Okay, I will strike the normal dude first, needing D3 wounds. So it's 2 wounds, so he dies. This guy?
Is it 3s to wound? Isn't that one?
Oh no, sorry, yeah. Yeah, so, right, I'm with you. Yeah, so it would have been 4s to wound, so it wasn't a wound. I keep getting confused with the heroes. So he's got 2 more, so the normal guy again. Yeah, that's a 6, which becomes D3, but he's dead anyway because he's only got 1 wound. And then the last one on any of the captains, doesn't really matter. It's a 6, so D3 wounds. It's a 1, so it's 1 wound against one of the captains. Fate. He fails it, so the captain with the spear is down to 1 wound. We'll come back in a second. Okay, so we're moving on to priority. I get a 1, and dwarves get... Is it a 4? Yeah. So dwarves get priority. We'll come back in a second. Okay, so the white warg, she is going to use her final point of might. Okay, so Matt's moved. He has bombarded Azog again and tied everything up in this corner, which is a good move. Over here, he's just stayed out of the inch control zone of the white warg. He's just put some blockers in. And then these 2 over here have just shuffled back a little bit with the prize. So we're going to go into the Gundabad move phase, and we'll come back in a second. So the white warg, she went round the back of the tree and across the river to there. And then we've got the conga line of Gundabads coming through across the river. These guys have all moved up. We've got one guy who helped his friend there supporting, and that was the Gundabad move. So we're now going to move on to the shoot phase, so we'll come back in a second. So the ballista is going to take a shot at the white warg. Let's see what Matt can get. And he gets the 6. Loves it. So that's we're now on the scatter. Yep. A 1. So it misses. There's nothing in the range there that I can put it onto, but that's a miss. That will do me nicely. So we're on to the combat phase. So we're going to work out if there's any heroics or anything like that, and then we'll come back. So we're on to the combat phase. Azog will not be calling any heroics this turn. So what we'll do, it's up to you, Matt. Where would you like to go first?
Let's start over here.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, so my spearman against your Iron Hills Dwarves. My spearman gets a 5 and you get the 5. So you win on fight value. Defense 5, so you need 5s to wound. And it's a 6. So another Gundabad bites the dust. Okay, where would you like to go?
Go Berserker.
Berserker. Okay, see what you get, my friend. So you got a 4. Berserker gets a 6 and a 2. So the Berserker wins. And the Berserker will need, is it 6s? Strength 4, 6s. You've had defense 7 there.
Yeah.
And there's a 6. A lot of 6s in this game, mate. Where would you like to go?
Come down here, the other Berserker.
This Berserker here. So my 2 dice gets a 2 and a 2. You get a 6. Okay, let's see if you wound. No. So the Berserker backs away. This one. So my Spearman, you get a 3. Spearman gets a 3. You win on fight value. 5s to kill. Nope. So he backs off. So Azog, I'll give you a target, shall I?
Yeah.
Because I've got the higher fight value. So if I get the 6, he's laughing. Oh, he gets 2 6s. So Azog wins. So now the first strike will be against the captain I struck before, who's down to 1 wound, no fate. So I need 4s? It's 4s, yes, 4s. He's defense 7. Strength 5, defense 7. 5s. But he's burly, so 4s. Yeah. No, second, same target in a 4. Yeah, it's a D3. It's 2 wounds, so he dies.
Which one, sorry?
The captain, that captain. And then we have, he's got 1 attack left, and he will hit it on the normal Iron Hills Dwarf there, needing a 4. Yeah, and he don't need to D3 it because he's only got 1 wound, so he dies. So that is the. Do we have a combat over there? We've done it.
Yeah, how does that one? That's
Yeah.
the one
So it's your 1 against. Was it 2 of mine?
yeah,
Not 1.
it's 1.
Oh, got to dance. I get a 5. So you win it. And a 5 to kill. 2. Okay. So it's parity. You get a 5. I get a 1. So after the Dwarves movement, they have tied Azog up again trying to trap him to get them all important extra dice if they succeed in winning the fight. He's tagged up the Berserker, he's tagged up the Spearman, and he's tagged up the other Berserker over there. Over here, there's a bit of a melee going on between a few Gundabad's and Iron Hills Dwarves. This dwarf has moved sort of in between, if you can see, the prize and the White Warg to try and be in a blocker to stop her getting to them. We'll see how that works out. And now it's the Gundabad's turn to move, so we'll come back after that. Okay, so all the other Gundabad's that were crossing the river are now in and amongst it, and there's a few dwarves in there which are looking like they could be in a bit of trouble. They need to roll them 6s. The White Warg is going around the outskirts to try and get past that blocker to get a clear charge on the dwarf which is holding the actual artifact. So we are now going to move on to the shoot phase. I'm assuming, Matt, that you're going to be taking another shot at the White Warg. And you roll a 1, that's lovely. You keep rolling then, Matt, that'll suit me. We're going to now move on to the combat phase, so we'll work out what we're doing and we'll come back in a second. So we're going to start off with a Berserker against Iron Hills Dwarf. The Berserker has 2 dice obviously, and he's not going to go two-handed. He gets a 5 high, and the Iron Hills Dwarf gets a 4, which is good. Okay, so the Berserker now needs strength 4 6s. Nope. And we'll go here. So your Iron Hills Dwarf rolls a 2, and the Spearman rolls a 5. That's nice. So 6s to kill. Nope. Have we rolled 1s to ancient enemies? Yeah. Can't keep rolling it, unfortunately. We'll move on to this combat. The other Berserker against the Iron Hills Dwarf. Oh, it's a 6. It's a 6. I need a 6. Oh, he gets it. It's a roll off. So Matt, 1, 2, 3 is me. 4, 5, and 6 is you. You get it. So 5s to kill. No, it's a 4. So he backs off. Okay, we're going to work out this combat over here and we'll come back in a second. Okay, so we've got this first dwarf here who is in base contact with 2 Gundabad's. So I am going to feint with both my Gundurbads, because I do have a banner which could be in range. So we'll see what you get, Matt. It's a 2, it's not great. Here we go. 6 and a 5 will do it. So re-rolling 1s, needing 6s. Don't need it. He dies. That's nice. Okay, we'll work out the spacing. We'll come back in a second. So we've got this other 1-on-1 on the outskirts, and I'm going to feint again, and I get a 2, and Matt got a 3. So I do have a banner in range. So I need a 3, higher than a 3, well, a 4 plus. No. So dwarves against Gundurbads. Oh, he's well dead. Well dead. Okay. So now we've got the last dwarf, and he's fighting against 4 because the bannerman has paid for the spear. So I've got 4 dice, and I'll be feinting with the guy with the sword. So I get a cock dice. Oops. So it's a 5 highest at the moment, and I've got a re-roll. And it doesn't matter even if I roll a 6 because you're the higher fight value. So I'm assuming you're going to go for one of the spearmen.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, and that's a win. Which one would you like to die?
Don't mind that fella though.
Yeah, okay. So we'll take him off the board, and we will come back to the Azog fight. So we're now onto the Azog fight. We've just had a little quick tally up. I'm a couple off breaking at the moment, and I still need to kill another 4 or 5 of Matt's. So let's see how Azog can get on here, because this is the guy that's going to do most of the damage for me, I think. So we'll roll for Azog first. He'll be using his flail as he does. He's still a higher fight value. So Azog gets a 4, a 4, and a 2. So 4 highest. Do you have might? You gonna make me use it? No, no. He gets a 3, a 2, a 3, a 3, and a 2. That's nice. I can save the might. Okay, we're going to come back to wounds in a second. So the way I've decided to do this, I'm going to strike the normal warriors first. There's 2 of those, and then hopefully the last one will get on the captain. I'm hoping to take out the 2 warriors straight off the bat. So first attack, which will be D3, needing 4s. That's a 6, so he dies. And second attack on the other normal warrior. It's another 6. Oh, I keep getting those. And then he's a hero, so I need 3s on the captain. Cocked. 6, so it's D3. Oh, so it's 1 wound. Fate. And he fails it. He's down to 1 wound. And we'll move on to the priority roll straight off. Matt gets a 3. I get a 5. So we'll come back in a moment. So in here, Azog has charged the captain again and his support this time, and because I was able to start tying things up. So the Berserker's charged this Iron Hills Dwarf. This Iron Hills Dwarf has been charged by the Berserker and the Spearman. This Spearman from over on the corner of the building has tied up this Iron Hills Dwarf, and these 2 Iron Hills Dwarves have been tied up by the remaining Gundurban Berserkers over here. What I need to do now is not lose fights and not take any casualties. The White Warg has ran around, and he's coming around the building. Matt has set up kind of a defensive position, guarding the relic. I think we've only got a couple of turns left in this game anyway, so it's going to be interesting towards the end to see how this pans out. So we're now going to move on to the shoot phase. Even though the ballista itself doesn't have line of sight of the White Warg, because these dwarves do, he can still shoot using the volley fire rule for the ballista. So he needs a 4+ to hit. And it's a 3. It's unfortunate. This ballista is going back to Forge World. So we'll move on to the combat phase, and we'll come back in a moment. So we're going to start over here. We'll start with the 2 spearmen. Well, one of them is a bannerman and spearman against the single dwarf. My banner will be the green will be the bannerman for -1 for holding a banner. So I get, and I'm fainting at the front, by the way. It's a 3 high. It's a 2. I still win it, and I won't be fainting because he has a spear, not a sword. So I do apologise. So I'm needing 6s, re-rolling 1s for ancient enemies. There's a 1 and a 4. Come on. No. So he survives. And then the next fight along is my 2, who will both be fainting against that single dwarf. Let's see what you get, Matt. It's a 5. It's good. I've got a banner reroll if I need it. I'm going to need it. Come on. No. So you win. It's a 3. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. So we're going to separate these fights like so. We're going to move on to this fight here. So it's going to be my swordsman who will be fainting against your dwarf. You get a 4. Oh, it's not in range. It's not in range. 5s. I do have a shield. I think you still may do it. Strength 4. Just let me check. Strength 4. Defense 6 is 5s. Yeah, he's dead. I'm pretty much on my breakpoint. I can't lose another Gundabad. So we'll move on to this fight first, which is a Gundabad against 1 Iron Hills Dwarf. I get 4 highest. Oh, you get the 1. It's not good. So I need 6s. Rerolling 1s. Nothing. I just can't seem to kill these guys. This is where Iron Hill's strength is. Okay, so this one is my 3 dice. You get a 1. That'll do me. So I win that fight. I could do with that 6 again. Rerolling 1s. Needing 6s. There's 2 6s. That's 1 down. Chipping away slowly. Okay. So now we move on to Azog. Yeah? Against your dice. You get a 4, a 5, and a 6. Come on, Azog. That's a 4, that's no good. 5, I'm going to have to use a point of might to make that a 6 to win the fight, I think. I don't want to take any wounds on my leader. So I'm going to make that a 6. So now I win that fight and I use a point of might. We'll come back to do the wound rolls in a second. Okay, so now with Azog winning the fight, we're rolling to wound. He's going to do his first attack at the captain, because it will be a 3+ with him being a hero. So first attack, and it's a 6, which becomes a D3 wounds. I'm going to have to call it cocked. I'm going to have to call it cocked, even though I'd like to take it. That'll do! 3 wounds, he's dead. Go Azog. So Azog has 2 attacks left. Was it 2? Yeah, that was his first attack. 2 attacks left on the remaining dwarf. Yeah. He'll be dead. So that's the end of the combat phase. We'll move straight into priority. I get... So it's a 4 for Matt, it's a 2 for me. So Matt gets priority this turn, so we'll come back in a second. Okay, so pretty exciting news. We just realised at the start of the move phase that Matt was broken, so we had to take courage tests. Unfortunately, he has no heroes left on the table, so he had to take them individually for the warriors, and he did fail a few. So he did attempt to charge a berserker here, but failed the courage test and ran away. There was another couple that ran away. There was an Iron Hills Dwarf which ran away from here. The Iron Hills Dwarf which was part of the defensive wall for the relic ran away. The Iron Hills Dwarf holding the relic ran away, which leaves just 1 Iron Hills Dwarf with the White Warg sneaking up. So we're going to see how we get on now. It's Gundabad's turn to move, and then we'll come back after that. Okay, so as we can see here, the 2 berserkers and the spearmen have taken one of the Iron Hills Dwarfs out of the fight from Azog, so it's now Azog against 2 Iron Hills Dwarfs. We have got an Iron Hills Dwarf over there who is very, very trapped, and this Iron Hills Dwarf who picked up the relic. We were here, you'll probably remember from the last shot, but we took the courage test late, so we did remember that it needed to go back here because this is where they failed the courage test. He picked it up and passed his courage test. He's now been countercharged by the White Warg, so it's not looking good for the Iron Hills Dwarves. Let's see how we get on in the next phase. There'll be no shooting phase because no one's manning the ballista, so it's straight onto combats. I think we'll start here. So Matt has 1 dice against my 4, and one of them is going to be -1. Matt gets a 3. Let's see. And there's a 6 in there. He's trapped, so I'm going to roll these twice. And they're all going to be 6s. What I'll do actually, because 2 of them would have fainted. The blue ones are re-rolling 1s, all needing 6s. Re-rolling 1. Sorry, just 1 re-rolling. Nope.
Ancient enemies as well, then. Can you re-roll that other one?
It wasn't a 1. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So I don't need to faint, do I? 6.
Should have kept quiet.
Friendly games, folks. That's what we like. We help each other out. Okie dokie. Let's go over here to the White Warg. She's got 2 attacks against Matt's 1. I thought you would have shielded there, Matt.
He's not got it. Oh.
Do you want to roll the other one? I think you would have done if your head was in the right place. So that's a 5. I've got a point of might, so 5 will still win it for me anyway on fight value. I get the 4. I'm going to use a point of might, win it on fight value. I think she's... Am I right in thinking she's strength 4?
I think so.
I'm just going to double check her strength and we'll come back with the wound rolls. Right, so she's actually strength 5. I totally forgot all about that. So she's strength 5, so she needs 5s to wound the Iron Hills Dwarf and possibly take the relic. 1-5 will do it. It's all fell apart at the end. Okay, let's move on to these combats here. So we will start with this dwarf who is against 2 berserkers and a support. So I have 5 dice. Matt gets a 4. It's not too bad. There's a couple of 6s in there. He is going to be trapped, so I'm going to roll these twice, needing... It's 5s off the berserker, isn't it? Yeah, so 5's on the green, 6 is on the blue, rolling them twice. Don't need to, he dies, 6. And then the big one, which is Azog, you get a 4 highest, Azog, 6. So it's D3s, so the first one, wounded on 4s. Nope. Second one, wounding on 4s. Nope. Third one, wounding on 4s. Hey, D3. He's dead anyway. And that is that. And I think we're going to call that game because I think you've got one. You've got one model left. So thanks a lot, Matt, and we'll come back to a post-battle Batrep breakdown. Just about got that out. Okay. See you soon. Okay guys, so that was it. That was a bit of a funny one. I thought I'd lost it when them 2 ogres went early on, but I just thought Dane was just going to absolutely eat through the rest of my army, but I turned it round. I don't know how I've done it. I think your ballista not firing very well.
Yeah, I think if a couple more of them ballista shots had gone off.
Yeah, I mean, because it wasn't able to halt the White Warg at all, and in the end, the very last turn, I was able to sort of get over there. And I didn't get the relic, and in the end, your guys' failing courage test done the job for me, really.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. It was 8-0 to Gundabad. I got 2 for breaking, 2 for leader, 3 for being within 3 inches of the relic. I didn't have it. So that's 2 and 5. That's breaking. What was the other 2 for? Oh, that's it. 2, 2, 2, and 3. 7-0, not 8-0. I do apologise. But yeah, it was a really good game. Really good game. I think my man of the match was definitely Azog. Just getting in there and just turn after turn, he was killing 2 or 3 a turn, and it ended up breaking you. So
yeah, I think early game Dane was good for me. Just once Azog got in there, he was just he didn't hold out.
No.
Was it 1 turn he went down against Azog?
Yeah, it wasn't great. I think it's Azog. I mean, that's what Azog's there for.
Yeah.
Azog is just a monster. You want to keep your heroes away from him. With you deploying in that corner as well, with the river sort of, it's basically a moat, and you deployed one either side of it, and I kind of thought yes, because then when I didn't come on with 1 warband, which was my big monster warband, and then it was able to come on next to your ballista, I thought I had it, and then the 2 ogres died, and I thought, oh my god, I've lost this already, because I had no one near there. I thought, those berserkers would then drop, but they held their own. But it was a really good game. It was a slog out. It was really, really tough. I was telling Matt, I've got a newfound respect for James, Jamie, Damien. Filming and playing is tough. I kept looking through the camera, and then I'd to get a better look, move the camera away and not realise that I'm doing it. So I hope it turns out alright in the editing. But yeah, bear with me. It's first time. I'll be doing some more. Me and Matt will get some more done. And yeah, thanks for watching. So support your hosts in the links below. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, support your hobby. Happy strategy about gaming. Cheers guys, see you soon.
Cheers.